Welcome everyone to the United States Grand Prix. We're here in Austin, Texas for the United States Grand Prix, the second race in the USA this season. It's a sunny day here in Austin. It's 21 degrees, so let's go down and have a look at the track. It's a 5.5 kilometer circuit with 20 turns and 2 DRS zones. There's detection zones just before that hairpin, before the really long straight, just before turn 11 and just after, and just before turn 12. 9 turns to the right and 11 turns to the left, so I'm going to hand it over to Jack Marshall for the grid.
Thank you, Sam. We had an amazing qualifying session on Saturday afternoon yesterday with Charles Leclerc taking the pole position with an amazing lap, 1:33.9. Lewis Hamilton, P2, finishing out the front row in his Mercedes, which haven't been performing this season. Russell, P3, his teammate, Carlos Sainz, and the two Red Bulls of Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez, P5 and 6. Alonso, best of the rest. Then we have Norris in 8, Ricciardo in 9, and Ocon in 10. And 11 we have Kevin Magnussen and the other Kevin King in P12 with Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas. Sebastian Vettel in P15 with Gasly, then Albon, then Zhou Guanyu. In P19 we have Lance Stroll. Rounding off the grid though, Yuki Tsunoda. Yuki Tsunoda didn't really have a great lap on Saturday, Sam. Yeah, you saw just before the hairpin, just before the long straight, at turn 11, he had a bit of a wobble coming out of there, which really, the most important traction zone of the whole lap. He just had a bit of a wobble, which really just hindered his whole lap, and was just really not what he wanted at all. Which is what eventually got him knocked out of Q1, because as he also he had a slight technical fault, which AlphaTauri have now fixed, but he couldn't get a second lap in, so he just got knocked out in Q1. So he didn't. It's unfortunate for Yuki Tsunoda. Yes, and I mean AlphaTauri has not scored points this season, which must be a kind of thing they're definitely looking at, maybe trying to really be aggressive in these first few laps. They're going to get ahead and maybe get those points in one of the final few races of the season. Yeah, I mean, we've seen so many chances where AlphaTauri's been so close to scoring points, and just at the last second, it's all gone wrong. Like a safety car's come out, or they've crashed and they've had to pit, or it's just it's so unfortunate for the AlphaTauris today, but this whole season. But hopefully, they will be able to get some points before the end of the season. Hopefully, they will. It is a soft medium or medium hard strategy for most of the cars, but here we are with them lining up on the grid. Yeah, and I believe we're just seeing the last few cars lining up. Yuki Tsunoda just slotting into his grid spot there. So we're now going to transfer over to the 5 red lights for the United States Grand Prix in 2022. It's lights out and away we go. Charles Leclerc gets a good start. Lewis Hamilton coming over to cover him off. Carlos Sainz tucking in behind Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc cuts over to cover off Lewis Hamilton, and they go inside, and Lewis Hamilton tries to go down the inside of Charles Leclerc, but he's lost a place to Carlos Sainz, who's gone around the outside. Sainz and Hamilton squabbling. Charles Leclerc is darting off into the lead of this race, but Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton side by side through the first few through the first few corners here. Charles Leclerc already over a second ahead. We're now on board with Kevin Magnussen just behind Kevin King. I believe Kevin King has jumped Kevin Magnussen at the start, and Kevin King making a little bit of contact there with Esteban Ocon, but getting up into the points. Good start for Kevin King. Great start for Kevin King. Here we are watching Esteban Ocon trying to go down the inside of Kevin King, and there's probably contact between the McLaren of Daniel Ricciardo, end plates flying off. I think that will definitely mean Esteban Ocon will have to be pitting this lap. I believe the damage with Esteban Ocon. He is dropping back a bit from Kevin King, and here we see them going 3 wide, the 2 Alpines and the Williams, with the Williams of Kevin King fighting Esteban Ocon, going down the inside, trying to stay ahead while tucking behind his teammate Fernando Alonso. This is super tight between the 3. I mean, I feel like Esteban Ocon would have been able to got past if his end plate wasn't off. You can see the right end plate has disappeared. Yeah, no, that's really unfortunate for Esteban Ocon. It seems to be just around the midfield. It seems to always just fall on an Alpine. Just these unfortunate instances of just front wing end plates and things like that coming off. And yeah, Esteban Ocon is coming into the pits now. Yes, but here we're seeing an epic battle between Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel, the mentor and the mentee, going down the main straight up into the highest elevation turn of turn 1. We can see it from the view of Valtteri Bottas as Alex Albon, crashes in to Sebastian Vettel, losing his end plate. End plates are flying around the circle. Valtteri Bottas getting super close to the Thai driver, but manages to get ahead to take that P14 place. I mean, that has definitely ended the squabbling up ahead between Mick Schumacher and Sebastian Vettel, but has increased the squabbling back, as we can see behind him, Alex Albon and Lance Stroll are battling with Lance Stroll and Pierre Gasly. Lance Stroll overtaking Pierre Gasly to take 16th place. Here we are watching along with Max Verstappen, who has lost the position in the start to his teammate Sergio Perez.
Yeah, Max Verstappen down in P6, not really what he needs for the kind of championship battle he's going on with Lewis Hamilton there. Sorry, not with Lewis Hamilton, with Charles Leclerc. I was looking at Charles Leclerc in first, and then I saw Lewis Hamilton in second. But yeah, no, Max Verstappen only 5 points ahead of Leclerc, and if both of these drivers stay where they are, Charles Leclerc will take the lead of the championship with when this race finishes. There will only be 3 races to go, just to Mexico, Brazil, and then the final race in Abu Dhabi. And we're now watching Max Verstappen start. He gets about a similar start to Russell, who neither of them get a very good start. So they're just both going to get bogged down a little bit. And yeah, Perez just goes down the inside of him, just makes easy, quick work of it. So yeah, Max Verstappen just a slightly poor start from the Dutch driver there.
Yes, I think he was kind of fell prey to George Russell's poor start in front of him, as he lost the position to Carlos Sainz, as George Russell started third and Carlos Sainz fourth, but now taking over. And here we have Sebastian Vettel pulling over to the side of the track in Sector 1. What may be the problem? I believe it could be engine failure, though we don't know for sure. All we know is he's pulled over to the side. It's a yellow flag for now, but that may start a safety car. We don't know. Here we are following Lando Norris right behind Max Verstappen, going down the long straight, but he can't get close enough because, of course, DRS is not activated yet, but soon will be.
Yeah, I'm very unfortunate for Sebastian Vettel retiring from this race and retiring from the sport at the end of the year. But yeah, just that's really unfortunate for Sebastian Vettel. He was having quite a decent race. Very close to the points, and it's all come crashing down for him.
Yes, it certainly has. He is DNF'd, but maybe they're not going for a safety car. Maybe they can just live with a yellow flag to pull it to the side. He did park in quite an easy area for the marshals to kind of remove his car, which it will definitely help the racing prospects, especially for the front people who don't particularly want a safety car at this time.
Yeah, Charles Leclerc, having already pulled over a second on Lewis Hamilton, really won't want a safety car, because that will allow Lewis Hamilton back into that 1 second gap, and that's really not what he needs right now. And we're now on board, I believe, with Kevin King, who gets a little bit bogged down at the start, gets overtaken by Magnussen, I believe it was, or by Schumacher, but he goes right back down the inside of them and catches right back up to the drivers he was stuck behind. And that's he's going side by side with one of the Hasses there, but manages to stay ahead, and he's caught back up to the Alpines and caught back up to the front pack. Kevin King is doing an absolute wonder in the Williams this season as he goes around the outside of the Alpine.
Yes, and I believe, was that when the Alpine lost the end plate? Oh no, it must have been.
It was it was up here.
Yeah.
Oh no, it wasn't. Ooh. Oh yes, it was, because that's where the Alpine crashed.
Yes. Yep. So that was not good for the Alpine. And here we see Kevin King trying to go around the outside of Alonso, but Alonso has a bit too much speed, I think, going into this corner. Here we have Esteban Ocon going down there. Where did that speed come from? Trying to go around the outside of Kevin King. I mean, that is a really intense battle.
Yeah, I mean, we do know that the Alpine is incredibly fast in a straight line. They did say at the end of last year that their engine this year, they will be focusing on speed rather than reliability. So they are very fast in a straight line. But
yes.
I believe we're now focusing on Daniel Ricciardo as Charles Leclerc puts in the fastest lap, a 1:36.1. Daniel Ricciardo a few seconds behind Fernando Alonso and managing to keep Kevin King at bay just for now.
DRS has been enabled now, and here we see the two Red Bulls squabbling in turn 1. Sergio Perez managing to stay ahead of his teammate, keep him behind him. That was great maneuvering on the outside. keep behind him, but we are going through the S's, a meticulously dangerous part of the course. So Max Verstappen right behind Sergio Perez, Lando Norris right behind him. Lando Norris has performed great in the past few races. He'll be wanting to get some more points to keep that streak going as Sergio Perez goes around the few corners into the area that leads on to the long straight. Max Verstappen will be really keen to try and get in that slipstream, get that DRS that's just been activated and try and get past Sergio Perez, but he is not close enough. It seems more likely that Lando Norris will try a move on Max Verstappen. We will see here going into the corner if Lando Norris chooses to go on the inside or outside. It is yet to be known, but I don't believe he is going to make the move. That was super close. Here we follow Kevin Magnussen in 10th place, who I believe just lost the position to Kevin King.
No, I think he's gained a position
to Kevin King. Yes, that was great. Battle of the Kevins, it seems, in this part of the US Grand Prix.
Yes. Austria very close. It's Austin.
Yes.
There you go. But yeah, Kevin Magnussen now up into the points for Haas, who obviously only have about 19 points this season. But yeah, that's great stuff for Kevin Magnussen, and now focusing on Carlos Sainz in P3, about a half a second behind Lewis Hamilton. Just trying to stick with him, trying to stick in that DRS to try and potentially overtake him and make it a Ferrari 1-2, because they do desperately need it. They're 18 points behind Red Bull in the constructors right now, and to take the lead of both championships in one race would be best case scenario for Ferrari right now.
Yes, I mean, as we've talked about time and time again, those points are crucial when trying to secure those places. 1-2 points, they certainly do matter, and when the difference between second and third place is about 2 points, that is certainly a big difference indeed. Here we follow the two Red Bulls, Sergio Perez in front of his teammate Max Verstappen, who has DRS, going down this straight. I don't believe he'll try and make a move, but he is getting closer and closer, only 2 tenths behind this time, going down that straight. The two Red Bulls in an intense battle with each other, equal machinery. It is just a matter of who is the better driver, going through these quick turns, high-speed turns in this Sector 3 of the US Grand Prix. What do you think? Who do you think will kind of get ahead?
I think as they go throughout the race, I think Max Verstappen will eventually get ahead of Sergio Perez. You know, he's shown last year that he was the much faster driver, and actually he's going into the pits now. So potentially he's going to try and go for the undercut on his teammate there to see if he can try and jump him on the fresher set of mediums, because he was stuck in dirty air. So yeah, he could probably would be potentially looking to try and get a better jump on the.
And here we are following Sergio Perez at the start, where he overtook his teammate going into turn 1. Here we see Sergio Perez. That was a very aggressive dive going into turn 1. I mean, he did qualify P6, and I feel like he's really wanting to try and catch up to his teammate, who is about 60 points ahead of him in the championship so far.
I mean, it'll be a very difficult thing for Sergio Perez to try and claw back and potentially still have a chance of being in this title fight. I mean, it is still theoretically possible. There's 104 points max up for grabs, and he's I think 68 points, or it's either 68 or 72 behind Max Verstappen. So it is theoretically possible, but we're just going to focus on Valtteri Bottas and Kevin King absolutely going at it right now. Bottas tried to go round the outside of Kevin King, and I think Kevin King ended up using the inside advantage to get past him, but Bottas has got the outside line, and he's got the DRS, and he's got the Kevin King there back up into P13. That's great stuff from Valtteri Bottas to get closer to the points. Alfa Romeo really need those. They're only 1 point behind Williams, so this is quite a battle for these two to try and get some points here.
Yes, and we have more people starting to pit. We can see Lando Norris tumbling down the order as he is in the pits. It has been very interesting to see who comes ahead out of this pit stops. Here we see George Russell on the left. Lewis Hamilton is the one we are following. George Russell goes down the inside on the new tyres, and he manages to stay ahead of his teammate. That is an absolute coup for George Russell, who manages to keep ahead, not having to overtake a single person, with Carlos Sainz coming out in P4 behind Lewis Hamilton.
I don't know if I've ever heard anyone describe an overtake as coup, but yeah, that was great stuff from George Russell to manage to come out the pits and jump his teammate and keep him behind as they go around the first corner. But we're now focusing on Kevin King. He was kind of in a bit of a sandwich. I forgot the word for sandwich.
Alfa Romeo sandwich.
Yeah, I forgot.
Right now?
Forgot the word for sandwich. Yeah,
and here we see Lewis Hamilton going down the inside with George Russell. Sorry to cut you off there, Sam. Lewis Hamilton goes down the inside. George Russell sticking along the outside, going down. George Russell managing to stay ahead to the next corners, though Lewis Hamilton is right on his tail. Wheel-to-wheel action right now going through the US Grand Prix as Lewis Hamilton tries to go down the inside once again. Does he stick ahead? He gets a better exit going down after the corner, and I believe he is now ahead, but George Russell strikes back, going down the inside of him. It's an intense battle between the two Mercedes drivers. Here we see, is that contact broken? Front wing end plate for George Russell, but he's not able to get in the pits because Lewis Hamilton blocks him. Now diving into the pits, having to brake there. I wonder if the stewards will investigate that. That was pretty reckless blocking by Lewis Hamilton. Yeah, that was. I think it was potentially a bit of a snap, or potentially I don't want to say a bit of dirty driving by Lewis Hamilton, but yeah, he did. I think he did end up pushing Russell off, and I don't think he meant to block him from coming into the pits, but yeah, he did, and that squabbling. Very happily for Charles Leclerc has given him a 5.5 second gap to the rest of the pack, so he'll be happily using that to try and keep his cool. And we're now getting a team radio from there. Lift now. So Charles Leclerc, getting a lift and coaster message, which I think means he's probably had a bit low on fuel right now. Yeah, slightly low on fuel. I don't know what's happening with my words today. I keep forgetting all the terms today. But meanwhile, Carlos Sainz, during the squabbles of the two Mercedes, has managed to get in the second, but he has Lewis Hamilton right behind him, who wants to retake that second position that he started this race with. And I believe he will really be trying to push his tyres. I wonder if maybe the reason they're telling Charles Leclerc to lift a bit is to save fuel. Maybe Carlos Sainz is also low on fuel. Maybe they under-fueled the cars, thinking that maybe there'd be a safety car, but there has not yet been. So they'll be really interesting to see how Carlos Sainz deals with Lewis Hamilton, who is behind him. Make sure to vote for Driver of the Day down in the comments and hit that red button, the red subscribe button, and subscribe to F1GTV.
And make sure you hit the bell so you know whenever we upload a new video, and make sure you like the video as well. But yeah, we're now still focusing on Lewis Hamilton, and I believe Carlos Sainz actually pulling away from Lewis Hamilton a bit and pulling towards his teammate of Charles Leclerc. And we may see a bit of I don't know if he's going to be quite fast enough to catch up to him, but we may see a bit of a Ferrari squabble at the end of the race here.
Yes, and meanwhile, Sergio Perez is in DRS range of Lewis Hamilton, let's not forget. So he'll also be trying to hound Lewis Hamilton, which will maybe make the championship-winning driver start to think about whether it's worth it trying to push on Carlos Sainz when he could be under threat by the Red Bull behind him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that'll all be going through all their heads, and I believe now we're going to go focus on Lando Norris. Up in P5, running a tidy little race. Actually, I didn't even notice, he's got ahead of Max Verstappen. Even though I said before, a bit of a commentator's curse saying Max Verstappen is going to get ahead of Sergio Perez, he's lost a position to Lando Norris, who's now running a very nice race up in P5. And this is Kevin King being overtaken by Mick Schumacher in the DRS zone there. But he does have the inside line, and he's going to try and squeeze Schumacher to the inside there. To try and stay ahead, and he's got the inside going into this corner, which is a very crucial time, a very crucial corner to have the inside in, and he has got back ahead of Mick Schumacher, and he has held that position.
Yes, I mean, this is an epic squabble between the two Kevins, fighting it out, the Haas and the Williams. I mean, this is an epic battle. Kevin King managing to stay ahead for now. Oh, that's a bit of dust kicked up by Kevin King's car. But here we see Esteban Ocon taking advantage of Mick Schumacher, going into 11th place. That is an amazing for the Alpine. The Alpine that did lose their front wing at the start of this race. The tyres will probably be getting a bit old by now. It's amazing he was able to stick that corner and go down the inside line. But I mean, this will go down to the wire for that crucial points position P10 right now, that currently held by Kevin King.
Yeah, and Esteban Ocon running a very tidy little race, a very great recovery drive today. After having to pit on lap 1 for the wing damage he had there. But yeah, back up into P11, he's running a very nice race.
Yes, certainly he is. I mean, after this race, I'll be very interested to see the standings, as I imagine they will dramatically change with the Ferraris currently 1-2 in this race. That will give them a lot of points to catch up to the Red Bulls in front of them, which will make this championship go down to the wire in the last few races.
Yeah, I might let you commentate for a bit, just so I can tell all the fans exactly how many points Ferrari's going to gain on Red Bull. So yeah, I'm going to let you take over for a minute.
Certainly, here we are following Esteban Ocon in P11, right behind Kevin King in P10 in the Williams, Mick Schumacher and Valtteri Bottas both in the mix of those P10 places. It is super close, all of them squabbling in their DRS train of their own, trying to take with only 4 laps to go in this race. It'll come down to the wire. Meanwhile, race recap time. We have Charles Leclerc, who's managed to keep pole position with Carlos Sainz jumping 4 places to P2. Lewis Hamilton losing 1 to P3. That's the podium places so far. And here we're still following Esteban Ocon, the Alpine, that managed to recover from broken front wing damage at the start of this race. I mean, Sam, back to you. I feel like you have the points ready.
I've got my numbers ready. So Ferrari is it's a very strange thing to do in the middle of the race, I will admit. But since Charles Leclerc does have the fastest lap, Ferrari is going to gain 24 points on Red Bull as it stands. Ferrari will gain 44 points, and Ferrari will gain Red Bull will gain 20 points, which will put Ferrari ahead of Red Bull in the standings. Even though both Red Bulls are scoring points and are both scoring pretty decent points as well. But yeah, we're now just going on to the final couple of laps, following Charles Leclerc a good few seconds ahead of the rest of the grid. Even though he's been told he has to lift and coast, he's still a good couple seconds ahead of his teammate Carlos Sainz and ahead of Lewis Hamilton and Sergio Perez. But yeah, as he's starting his second to final lap, we might follow on with Charles.
We have to note though, he has lost maybe like a second to Carlos Sainz, who has now gained to 2.3, now 2.2 behind his teammate. I mean, that's pretty much an entire second and a half second maybe. That's a lot of time gained by his teammate of Carlos Sainz on Charles Leclerc.
Yeah, I mean, he has been told by his team to lift and coast, so maybe they've told him that the problem's slightly more severe and he has to start lifting and coasting even more, or maybe his tyres are potentially starting to go off. But actually, as I'm saying that, the gap has now dropped to 1.4. It was 2.1 at the start of that section, so I think, potentially it probably could be that his tyres are starting to go off. Even though he does have the hard tyres on, which doesn't quite make sense to me. We are following on with Charles Leclerc now. He's now just coming to the end of this straight. I'm not really seeing any snaps. It doesn't really lead me to believe he's running out of tyres, but
he is dangerously close to being within DRS range of his teammate, which will certainly help his teammate out in the fight against Lewis Hamilton, but will not help him out. Carlos Sainz now 8 tenths behind. That is nearly 3 seconds in an entire lap. Charles Leclerc's car is definitely not pulling it off, but Carlos Sainz with deer at 3 tenths behind. Do not fight, Carlos. Leclerc's engineer is telling him, what a call from the Ferrari garage. I wonder the reason for that. Maybe Charles Leclerc's in engine trouble that we've not heard. Carlos Sainz going on the outside. Not much fight from Charles Leclerc, but he is fighting it. Wait, what is he not listening to his engineers? Carlos Sainz still getting ahead though. Maybe that's some rebellion from Charles Leclerc. I wonder what the reason is. I do not know.
I mean, they're still going to gain the exact same amount of points whether Charles Leclerc defends against his teammate or not. But and either way, he's still going to get ahead of Max Verstappen in the championship. He's still going to definitely gain at least 5 points on him. But yeah, I think God, even through that one sector, he's already lost 1.2 seconds to him there, and he's now going to have to defend against Lewis Hamilton, who he's about 4 tenths ahead of. And we're now looking at the camera through the rear wing. You can just see Lewis Hamilton poking through the rear wing there. He's going to try and go down the outside on the faster medium tires, but they will be going off faster than the hard tires. Lewis Hamilton going around the outside of Charles Leclerc. He's going to try and stick with Lewis Hamilton, but he just can't make it stick. And Charles Leclerc I think might have to settle for P3 today. What is happening to Charles Leclerc?
He was so comfortably ahead, but now seems to just have gone off completely.
Maybe, I mean, this could be a problem with both Ferraris, but yeah, because Carlos has been told to push, to be put on low fuel, but it doesn't matter, because he goes around the final corner, and Carlos Sainz, running out of fuel, has won the US Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton, second place. Charles Leclerc comes home in third. Sergio Perez, P4.
Yes, grazie tutti. Thank you, everyone.
It's a good race for Ferrari, but what happened to both of them there?
Charles Leclerc nearly lost the podium position to Checo in the final corner. Maybe he ran out of fuel. That's the only explanation I can find.
Yeah, I mean, Carlos Sainz also was, you even saw he just kind of started sputtering towards the line coming out of the final corner there, but...
Yeah, that is one of the strangest races I've ever commentated, I must say.
Yeah, one of the strangest ends to a race I've ever seen. I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like that. Having both drivers low on fuel, running out of fuel like on the last lap and losing so many positions.
Yes, but here we see Carlos Sainz winning the Austin Grand Prix. That is amazing for him. You can see him lifting the trophy high. The Ferrari team must be ecstatic at that win. It is absolutely amazing. They have gained so much points on Red Bull, and the championship fight is now even closer.
Yeah, and all my maths from just before has just been thrown out the window because it's not a 1-2 anymore, it's a 1-3.
Yes.
Which Ferrari will still be very happy with. And I believe we're going to find out in a minute that Carlos Sainz has won the US Grand Prix with Lewis Hamilton second place, Charles Leclerc coming home in third, Sergio Perez P4, Lando Norris in P5, very tidy race from him, Max Verstappen P6, not exactly where he would have wanted today, and Fernando Alonso coming home in P7, Daniel Ricciardo P8, Kevin Magnussen in P9, and Kevin King in P10, rounding off the top 10 to 2 Kevin's. We're now looking at the driver's standings. Charles Leclerc takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship, 3 points ahead of Max Verstappen, and Carlos Sainz jumps Sergio Perez in the championship. Actually, they are level on points, but I think Carlos Sainz has had a couple better finishes, so he does sit further up in the championship. Lewis Hamilton, George Russell, 2 Mercedes, 5th and 6th. Norris, Alonso, P7, P8, and Kevin King and Esteban Ocon, P9 and P10, rounding off the drivers. And Ferrari do take over the lead of the Constructors' Championship. Again, 3 points ahead of Red Bull. No changes from anyone else. But I believe if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you know whenever we upload a new video. And we will see you all next time.